Good day, grade 11 learners. This is your teacher, Renz Angelo D. Calzada, or you can call me Sir Jello. Welcome to our Practical Research 1 class for this week. Before we start with our class, let us have first a prayer. Let us pray in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, we offer to you our class today. We pray that through your divine guidance, we would learn how to listen attentively to the inputs of our teacher. May we appreciate his or her effort in imparting his knowledge to us. May we participate actively in the discussions and activities so we could learn more while having fun. May we value each other's contributions as a building block towards harmony and peace. Grant that as we interact with one another, we recognize the fact that all our learning activities should be accomplished for your greater glory. Grant that we recognize you in each of our classmates and teachers. As we leave for home, we pray that you keep us safe from harm and illnesses. And we would be able to apply correctly what we have learned from school. All these we ask in your powerful name. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Once again, welcome to our Practical Research 1 class for this week. We are now on our second module in Practical Research 1. For this week, you will be answering 2 modules, which will be the Module 2 and Module 3. But before we begin our discussion for today's lesson, let us have first a review of your previous lesson last week. In the previous lesson, our lesson was all about the research experiences and knowledge. In that module, you were able to learn that research is a systematic process of gathering information, interpreting information, and analyzing information to resolve a specific problem. The root word re from research means again. So research means searching again for information that already exists but needs to be strengthened and emphasized. And aside from that, research includes any gathering of data, information, and facts for the advancement of knowledge. That is according to Shuttleworth in 2011. The term research is very similar to the word inquiry since this word is the Greek derivation of research. When we say inquiry, that means a process that is done using scientific methods. Diba? When we hear the word inquiry, all that we can think of when we heard that the word inquiry is asking questions. So this is to look for information by asking various questions about the thing you are curious about. Both involve investigative work in which you are searching for information and examining the object of your search. Diba? For example, you are in a certain environment. Once you observe something, then the first thing that you're going to think is you are going to ask why such thing is happening. Okay? So since you are asking, you are driving yourself to solve or to answer that question by investigating in your surrounding why such phenomenon is happening. Aside from that, an inquiry also is a learning process that motivates you to obtain knowledge or information about people, things, places, or events. Inquiry is always related to research because inquiry it begins with asking question, and research follows the scientific process or the scientific method And in the scientific method, you always begin with a question. After you observe, a question will arise in your mind asking why such thing is happening. So that is inquiry, which can be applied in research. So aside from the definition of inquiry that you were able to learn in your previous module, you also learned about the ways of inquiring. So first one, investigating or asking questions about something that you are inquisitive about or you are curious about. Second, collect data, meaning, facts, and information about the objects of your inquiry and examine such data carefully. Why do you have to collect data? Why do you have to collect meaning, facts, and other information? For you to get solution or answers to the questions that you have asked. Third, execute varied thinking strategies that range from lower order to higher order thinking skills, just like inferential, critical, integrative, and creative thinking. So where can we apply research in different fields of life? So for us to know that one, let us play this game. This game is entitled 4 Peaks 1 Word. I know you are very familiar with this. So the game is very simple. I will be showing you 4 pictures in a certain set, and then you are going to identify what word does the picture depicts. Okay, so let us begin. So in this set of pictures, as you can see, there is, I think this is a rice field, and you can also see farmers harvesting the palay. And as you can see also, there are vegetables and fruits. So what do you think is the word? It starts with letter A. Very good. That is agriculture. Let us proceed on the next set of pictures. As you can see, there's a money. There is also a chart that shows the GDP growth of the Philippines. We also have inflation, underemployment rate, and public debt. You can see also BDO, which is one of the banks here in the Philippines. And you can also see buildings and different infrastructures. I think this is located in Makati City here in the Philippines. So what do you think is the word does the picture depicts? Very good. The word is economy. Let us proceed to the next set of pictures. Okay, in this set of pictures, you can see a student answering. You can also see here learning modules that you are using right now in the distance learning. As you can see also, there is a teacher having her class in the classroom. So what do you think is the word that depicts? Okay, very good. The word is education. Let us proceed on the last set of pictures. Okay, as you can see, there are females who are wearing their tribal dresses. There are also Filipinos who are dancing singkil, which is one of the folk dances here in the Philippines. And you can also see in the picture people who are doing bayanihan. And of course, you can also see there the different Filipino dishes. So what do you think is the word? Okay, very good. The word is culture. So now, based on the words that we have identified, namely agriculture, economy, education, and culture, These are the four major fields wherein research is very important and we could apply on. Why do you think research is very important in these different fields? We all know these fields or sectors have encountering problems from day to day and from time to time. And for those problems to be solved, we really have to conduct research because research is the only way to solve those problems, because since just like what I've said a while ago, that research follows a step-by-step process and it follows the scientific method, then therefore that is a way or the primary way for us to address issues in our society, especially in our economy. Just like in our government, the issues and problems that they are facing right now. And in these different fields or sectors, we ordinary people are directly involved. For example, in agriculture, without our farmers, without our fishermen, we consumers, we could not satisfy our need for food, and therefore magugutom tayo. So therefore, agriculture is very important, and research in agriculture is very important and very useful, because just like there is a shortage in that certain product, for example in rice, so for that to be addressed, then therefore research has to be conducted. And who will benefit from it? The agriculture sector, the country itself, and of course the Filipino people. So, for example, in our economy, people are also directly involved because it has something to do with the employment rate of the people. Just like in the culture, in education also, we ordinary people are directly involved. So therefore, from our day-to-day living, these four fields, these four different fields and sectors we are experiencing them from time to time. So therefore, if we experiences them daily, then therefore we are also experiences research every day in our lives. So that will be our lesson for this day, which is all about the importance of research in daily life. So our most essential learning competency for this lesson is the learner explains the importance of research in daily life. And for our specific learning outcome for this lesson is to explain the importance of research in daily life. So try to imagine a world without research. How does it look like? So a world without research experiences no progress. It seems like people will become just stagnant. Our country, our economy will be stagnant if there's no research. And without progress, there is no new knowledge and coherently addressing some of life's challenges. Since we are stagnant, and if there are arising problems in our society, then we cannot solve them because we tried to imagine that a world without research. And in today's world, we are always adapting to the shift of life and its complexities. We are constantly demanding for new ways to do things and address the newly erupting problems. And we always want to keep up with the new. Therefore, without research, our demands would go completely unanswered. Diba, as you can notice sa atin, people, we cannot just be satisfied on what we have right now. We always aim for something. We always aim for innovation. But for every innovation that arises in our society, for every innovation that we create in this world, meron talagang kaakibat na mga different societal problems that we people, especially the government, has to face. And therefore, for those problems and issues to be addressed, research has to be used for them to be addressed and for us to live in a life where our needs and wants will be satisfied. So that is the major importance of research in our daily life. So what are the main purposes of research? So first, to inform action. Second, to prove or generate a theory. Third, to augment knowledge in a field or study. We are going to elaborate these purposes of research by discussing some of the reasons why research is very important, which is stated by different researchers and authors. So other authors also specified the primary reasons why research is important. So the following details or information that I will be sharing to you are taken from Marshall and Rossman in 2014, Amorado and Talili in 2015, and Zara in 2020. So let us begin with the first reason why research is important. So research helps to strengthen arguments by providing information. Arguments are everywhere, but of course, that doesn't mean we should accept them. Diba, there are arguments that are based on facts, which is actually good and necessary. But there are also arguments that are baseless and based on false statement. So research produces hard facts that could support your arguments and beliefs, and we have to always adapt this way of attitude every time we engage ourselves in different arguments, that every time we argue with something to other people, we must base our arguments in facts. We must base it in research. Okay? So that is one. Second, research serves as a tool for building knowledge and for facilitating learning. Research is important not just for students and academics, but for all professionals and non-professionals alike. In education, just like in education, research helps students to enhance skills in reading books or online articles, listening to experts, watching documentaries or investigative shows, conducting scientific experiments, and interacting with other people and among others. All the things that you are learning right now, ito in different fields, for example, in mathematics, in science, in social sciences, and other fields, all of them are based in research. So imagine if there's no research, then wala din kayong pinag-aaralan ngayon, because all these things, all the facts, all the informations, they were generated from a research itself. Third reason why research is important is that research confirms certainty. It is a way to prove lies and support truths, and research allows us to mark out the thin line between truth, which is fact, and lie fallacy. You know what? The reason why research is really important because it sets truth and it verifies something. For example, a certain individual, the one that you are talking with, he said something and then you are not sure about it. So you try to search it on the internet whether her statement is true. And you don't just look for that statement. You have to look for a research according to that statement so that you can verify that certain statement coming from other people is actually truthful and correct. So that's one of the best reason why research is important, so that we could avoid fallacy or false statements, right? Next, Research opens vistas, new age digital media platforms of opportunity before we pick and choose. So nowadays, people are using media platforms in making research before buying a product. This is very true. 'Di ba? Usually we tend to buy a product because we saw it online. For example, in Facebook or in Instagram, in Twitter, or most of the Gen Z or the millennials, as well as the millennials, are now in TikTok. So every time there is this product that is posted in TikTok that is naginawan siya ng review, and then that certain video has become trending, and then a lot of people saw it, then the people would try to love it, and as a result, they would buy it, diba? So that's one of the powers of online or digital, the digital field, wherein these social media sites or different websites that we can see online, these are the things that help us verify what to buy. Because diba, for example, if bibili ka sa Shopee, what are the first things you're going to do before you're going to add that certain product in your cart? Diba? For example, gusto mong bumili ng microphone. So, madaming lalabas na microphone pag search mo. But of course, gusto mo na yung bibilhin mo is talagang legit and it has a good quality even though the price is low. So, for you to verify whether the product is really legit and the quality is good, you are going to look at the reviews of the people who already bought the product. So, titingnan mo doon, okay, ito pala kasi ganito. Ang review niya kasi maganda, may picture pa talaga. And from that is already a validation that certain product is really good and worthy to be bought. Diba? So, the tendency now is bibilhin mo yung product, you're going to add it to your cart, and then, ano mo na kaagad. Bibilhin mo na. Diba? So, that is one of the reason why research is important. Next is, research is a means to find, gauge, and seize opportunities. Research helps people develop their potential and reach goals through various opportunities. These can be in the form of securing scholarships, employment, training grants, project funding, business collaboration, and budget traveling, among others. On this is very important. This thing, kailangan nyong malaman na ang research could actually be a way of living for you to survive, for you to buy the things that you want and need. For example, di ba, we are now in the information age wherein information has a huge value because everything, for example, technology, for example, laptop, cell phone, or different innovations, these things are the products of research. So, for example, you have an innovation that wherein you conducted a research for that certain innovation to be produced or for that technology to be produced, then therefore a lot of people could notice it. And the tendency now is different companies or different sectors would see your potential, then the tendency now is they will offer you scholarships, di ba? O di kaya they will hire you in their company because they see you as a they see you as an asset to the company because of the innovation that you have created or produced out of your research, di ba? O di kaya some other companies also would sponsor your travel expenses to conduct research in other places. O di ba? Parang you are hitting two birds by one stone. Nakapag-conduct ka na ng research, at the same time, nakapunta ka pa sa ibang country, and you will also enjoy the place, di ba? Because of research. Next is, Research is a seed to love reading, analyzing, thinking, and learning. You know what? Research involves both reading and writing, and reading opens the mind to a vast horizon of knowledge, while writing helps a reader use her or his own perspective and transform this into a more concrete idea that he or she would understand. And it is a tool for building knowledge and for facilitating learning. And it also assists in decision making. You know what? When you are going to conduct a research, the primary thing that you're going to do is to read, read, and read. Not just read those words. You will not just remember them, but you have also to comprehend and understand what you are reading. After you comprehend, try to apply it in a real life situation. After applying it in a real life situation, you are going to analyze things. What if this concept will be applied in a certain scenario? What do you think will happen? For example, there is a theory that you have read in a certain book and you would like to apply it in a certain issue. For that certain issue, for example, a societal issue to be addressed. What do you think would possibly happen if that theory would be applied and become a solution or a prospect or a possible solution to that problem in our society? So yun siya. Then after that one, you are going to conduct the research. Then after conducting the research, you are going to assess whether the application of that certain theory to that certain problem is effective. Okay, and then you evaluate, is it effective or not? Then after evaluating it, then you will come up with your conclusion. Based on my study, I was able to determine that the theory is really effective in resolving this societal issue. Then after conducting the conclusion, then you will formulate or you will have your recommendations. These recommendations are very important because these data can also be used by other researchers to establish the validity of your research and as well as the reliability. Okay? So when you conduct a research, always remember the primary thing that you're going to do is to read, remember, understand, apply, then analyze. Next is, research is a means to understand various issues and to increase public awareness. So nowadays, fake news is rampant in social media platforms, di ba? Madami na masyado. And instead of delivering factual news, others are spreading wrong information in which most of the time creates chaos. Thus, doing research in different reliable sources can increase public awareness with factual evidences. Diba? Especially in Facebook, madami kang masyadong makikita na mga different Facebook pages na nagpo-post ng mga news, mga, for example, yung about news about the government or the status of our economy. Hindi ka dapat maniwala agad-agad kung ano yung nabasa mo. You really have to validate whether the thing that you have read online is true and it is based on fact and whether if it is based on research, di ba? Okay. Next is, research is an aid to business awareness. Okay, so research benefits business. Of course, many successful companies such as those producing consumer goods or mass market items conduct research before launching a business. For example, the kind of research that they are going to conduct are the feasibility study, and they were going to have a business plan. I think you were able to learn this one during your entrepreneurial subject during the first semester, diba? So it is really important to have research before you're going to make a business or conduct a business in the market, because through research you were able to identify whether the product that you will be selling would be you know what, madaming tao ang bibili. Kasi kung agad-agad ka For example, may naisip ka na business, okay, so I will have this business and then I will put up a store in the certain location, and later you found out that that certain product is not performing good o hindi naman talaga kailangan doon sa certain area kasi yung target na mga bibili mo ay ay wala doon sa certain area. For example, your product is all about mga school supplies. Since it's school supplies, so therefore you are going to set your store malapit ba sa eskwelahan o di kaya doon sa mga places na madaming students o di kaya yung merong office wherein bibili sila ng mga office products, for example, mga bond papers, ball pens. So doon talagang magbo-boom ang business mo. So you have to conduct a research first, identifying your target buyers, identifying whether your business would boom in that certain area. That's one way of conducting research. Okay? Next one, research is a set of sharing valuable information. So data sharing encourages more connection and collaboration between researchers, which can result in important new findings within the field. Data sharing allows researchers to build upon the work of others rather than repeat already existing research. Madami ng research ang na-conduct, of course. And you know what? People are still conducting research because we always aim for the best. And we always, you know what? Ang tendency sa ating mga Pilipino or all people all around the world, ang tendency is we always aim for innovation. We want to produce something new that is very beneficial to all the people in the world, diba? So yun. So the reason why research is research is a set of sharing valuable information, because the findings of the research before can be used as we generate new research to produce new technology or to have new innovations. Aside from that, you know what? Itong problema natin about the COVID-19, the vaccine, di ba? One of the primary solution for this pandemic to end is to have the vaccine. And these vaccines, hindi ito na nagagawa agad-agad. You know what? These vaccine to be produced, for example, ng Pfizer, ng AstraZeneca, ng Sinovac from China, all of these are products of rigorous research. Research talaga. Kung walang research na kinonduct, then we are not certain whether those vaccines are effective or not. We were able to identify, di ba, merong mga 95% effectivity. Those are values coming from the research. Those are the data coming from research. Okay? Next, research is the heart and soul of good writing. Doing research is not that easy. And you know that, I know. Then therefore, you do research, you need to give your time. When you do research, you really have to give your time, your heart, and your soul. Kasi hindi naman ito madali. You are searching evidences, you are searching information that would support your what do you call this one? Your outcomes of your research, and finding those supports are not easy. Diba? You should write not what you know, but what you can find out about. Diba? So, research, it's all about writing. Diba? Kasi, diba, when you write, everything that you write, these are new set of data that other people, other researchers can be used. That's why it is really important that as much as possible, i-publish natin yung research natin. Kasi the main purpose why we are conducting research is for everyone, for the benefit of everybody. For example, your research is all about how to increase the performance of the students despite they are having this distance learning. So whatever the result of that study would be very beneficial, not only to the teachers, not only to the school, not only to the Department of Education, but especially to the students. Okay? So I hope you learned something from those information that I gave you. Those were the different reasons why research is very important. And those reasons are actually applicable on the different fields that we have identified a while ago. Diba? We identified agriculture, we have economy, we also have education and culture. So this time, we are going to have another activity. So this activity can be found on your self-learning module in Practical Research 1, specifically in your module 2. And the title of this activity is 4 Picks, 1 Word Follow-up. So here is the direction. What do you think is the importance of research in the different fields you have identified? So write your answer under the column importance. Okay? Then your answer will be rated based on the rubric that I will be showing you later on. So here is the first item. Di ba we were able to answer this one kanina? The answer is agriculture. So now, what do you think is the importance of research in the field of agriculture? Sige, magbibigay ako ng example. Pero ito example na ito, hindi nyo na ito pwedeng isulat dyan kasi sinabi ko na. So for example, di ba, okay, ito yung sinabi ko kanina. For example, there is a shortage of rice. Kasi because siguro of because of the weather disturbances, kaya hindi nakapag-produce ng maraming palay or bigas. So, what is the importance of research in there? So, the government now, especially the Department of Agriculture, they are going to conduct a research to know or to generate solutions as to how to allocate these limited resources, which is the rice, to all Filipino people. Wherein, di ba, rice kasi is a staple food. Lahat tayo kumakain ng rice. So therefore, paano natin maipamamahagi ang limited na rice that we have, although we have shortage of rice based on the scenario, paano mo siya ma-allocate sa lahat ng tao? So that is the importance of research. Aside from that, siguro you could also, di ba, problema din sa field ng agriculture, yung mga pest, di ba? Madami mga pest, for example, yung kumakain ng mga kanang sa humay gani, di ba? I think one of the major pest is yung mga locust, di ba? Tapos yung mga rat. We also have yung mga soft-shelled na mga turtles. They are actually considered as pests sa mga agricultural products. So, for that certain issue or problem to be addressed, we really have to conduct research. Paano ba natin ma-minimize ang presence ng mga pests na ito para hindi masira ang mga agricultural products? Okay? So that is an example. So now, what do you think are the other importances of research in the field of agriculture? Next is in the field of economy. O ito naman, I know madami kayo maiisip, especially right now that our economy is really in a challenging status because of the pandemic that we are facing right now. Our economy has, it has decreased dramatically because of the money loss that we have in the previous year, in the 2020. Diba sabi nga doon, parang we lost trillion. Kumbaga parang nawawalan tayo ng 2 billion every day because of the pandemic, na limitahan ang lahat ng business, especially during the conduct of the implementation of ECQ last year. At saka ngayon din may ECQ na naman doon sa Luzon. So talagang economy will really go down. Talagang magde-decrease. So what do you think is the importance of research right now in the field of economy? So I will leave you that one for you to think. Next is education. O ito, paano ba natin ma-apply ang research sa field of education? O ito, magbibigay ako. For example, right now we are having this distance learning and you found out that most of the students are losing their interest, they are losing motivation to answer their self-learning modules. So how can that be? How can that problem or issue of the students can be resolved? Or how can that be addressed? So in that manner, magkakandak ng research. It's either si teacher o di kaya si Department of Education. O madami pang iba, madami pang importance ng research education. And I want you to think of ways, okay? Then lastly, in the field of culture, what is the importance of research in the field of culture? So I want you to think of an answer for this, kung ano bang importance ng research sa field ng culture. Okay? So that would be for that activity, which is the 4 picks 1 word follow-up. And the answer that you're going to put, yung mga importance ng research in that certain field, you will be rated according to this rubric. So we have two traits here, or two criteria. We have content and conventions. So as expected, you will get 4 as the perfect score for content if your ideas are presented clearly and relevant to the research learning discussion. While for conventions, you will get the high score or the high score 4 if there is a correct use of grammar, punctuation, and spelling. Okay, I hope it is clear. So if you have questions, do not hesitate to message me directly in Messenger. So let's proceed in our next activity, which is activity 2, entitled Importance of Research. So here is the direction. Read and understand the scenario. Explain the role of research in the scenario. Your answer will be rated based on the rubric that I will be showing you later on. So here is the scenario. Let's read the scenario. Joelito is a senior high school student. He reads a certain article in the Facebook that caught his attention. The article talked about the death of a TV personality. He was shocked and cannot believe the story. Because of this curiosity, he wanted to know the truth when, where, and how the TV personality died. He gathered information from reliable sources on the internet and only to find out that it was a fake news. So this time, how do you think is research being used in this scenario, and how important do you think is research in this scenario? So I want you to narrate your answer. Your answer must be in an essay form, and your answer will be rated according to this rubric. So in this rubric, you can see there are 2 traits, or there are 2 criteria. First, we have the content and the conventions. You will get 4 points or perfect score for the content if the role of research in the scenario is exemplified clearly, or you were able to explain it well, clearly and relevant to the research learning discussion. So what do you think is the importance? So mamimili kayo doon sa mga diniscuss natin kanina. You set it as a supporting detail to your answer. Aside from that, we also have the conventions. You will get a perfect score if there is a correct use of grammar, punctuation, and spelling. Okay? So if you have question for this activity, do not hesitate to ask me a question and send me a message to my Messenger account. So, if we're going to summarize our lesson, we have to remember this thing. Simple lang. So, ito. A world without research experiences no progress. Diba? And without progress, there is no new knowledge and coherently addressing some of life's challenges. The main purpose of research are the following. First, to inform action. Second, to prove or generate a theory. And to augment knowledge in a field or study. So I hope you learned something from our discussion for this morning about our lesson in Practical Research 1. So, did you learn something from today's lesson? So I hope so. So I think you are now ready to answer the assessment part of your module. So, I want you to answer Let Us Assess, which can be found in page 5 to page 6 in the Self-Learning module in Practical Research 1, specifically in Module 2. Okay? So, write that one in a yellow paper. So, after you answer the assessment part, you are now going to write your reflection about our lesson for this day. So let us reflect. In your own understanding, why do we need to conduct researches in the field of medicine? O ito, this is very interesting. Di ba kanina yung example natin about COVID-19 that is in the field of medicine. So in your own understanding, why do we need to conduct researches in the field of medicine? O kanina, you set my example kanina about the COVID-19 vaccine as a best example for this. Okay? So I hope you got the instruction, but if you have question about this one, do not hesitate to ask me a question. So your answer in your reflection will be rated or graded according to this rubric. So as you can see, there are two traits or criteria here. So first, content, you will get a perfect score of 4 if your ideas and understanding are presented clearly and relevant to the research learning discussion. And the second criteria is conventions. You will get a perfect score of 4 if there is a correct use of grammar, punctuation, and spelling in the whole reflection. Okay? So here are the references of our discussion for this day. So thank you so much for watching this video lesson about our lesson in Practical Research 1 for this week, specifically in your Module 2. So hopefully you were able to learn something from our discussion today, and I hope this discussion will help you as you answer your self-learning module in Practical Research 1. But if you have questions, please do not hesitate to ask me in Messenger or in any form or in any way. Pwede din if you would like to call me or you send a text message, as much as magtanong kayo or magtawag kayo within school hours. Okay? So walang magtatanong ng gabiing dako o kaya past 6 p.m. Okay? So thank you so much once again, and see you on the next video, which is about Module 3 in Practical Research 1. Thank you so much. Goodbye, Grade 11 learners.